You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steeler Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on this Tuesday. What's up, Matthew? How we doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Peeling back the curtain, we had some pre-production meetings before the show today talking about our schedule for next week.
Yeah.
Because Saturday, Matt and I will be flying out to Phoenix, Arizona in anticipation of the NFL owners meetings that begin on Sunday. And so we will have a bonus edition of The Drive for you on Sunday, and then a few days there early in the week where we will be broadcasting from the owners meetings in Arizona. So it'll be a little different, be a little wonky, but we'll also...
They're also 3-hour shows.
I was just going to say, much like, it feels like anytime we leave the studio, that's the case, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Training camp, OTAs, the combine, the draft, and we will have so the schedule will be a little different. It will still be airing same time you get us here.
You can still download it, and there'll be YouTube still.
Wherever you consume us. Here live on SNR, podcast, YouTube, it'll all still be the same. But we will have...
Don't forget about the Sunday one.
We will have the Sunday show, a little bonus for you, and we will be doing 3 hours out there on location. So it'll be fun. It'll be hot, Matt. We're looking at the weather. It's like in the 90s every single day.
That sounds great right now.
But that
by about Tuesday, I might be sweating puddles, but who knows?
By Tuesday, we'll be like, all right, we're some pasty northeastern boys.
A little toasty.
Get us back home. But right now, it sounds fantastic, as I think it was like 19 degrees this morning when I was taking
warming up outside, though. It's getting nice, though.
Yeah. The mornings and evenings are still really chilly, but in the afternoons, it's in the 50s, which, isn't great, but isn't terrible. But yeah, we're really looking forward to that. So a lot of moving and shaking coming down the pipeline here on The Drive, but that will be kicking off on Sunday, as we'll have all your coverage that you expect and bonus coverage from the 2026 NFL owners meetings. Matt, little news of the day to get us started. And yesterday, hey, stop me if you haven't heard this yet, but the Steelers don't have an answer from Aaron Rodgers just quite yet. I'm not sure if everybody knew that.
Right.
If that's been discussed.
Once in a while, you got to throw it out there.
That's been discussed much this offseason. But yesterday, just an interesting kind of, moment in the timeline of this Aaron Rodgers Part 2 saga. Okay? And yesterday, Mike McCarthy was in Green Bay because they were having a celebration of life there at Lambeau Field for the late Bob Harlan, who was the president of the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And it was emceed by Kevin Harlan, the famous broadcaster who does NFL games.
I knew there was a relation. Okay.
And March Madness games here. And I know that this isn't what we're talking about, but for my money, Matt, Kevin Harlan on the short list of the 2 or 3 people that I would say are the best national play-by-play guys in any sport. Kevin Harlan's incredible play-by-play guy.
So he's like a Hall of Fame type guy.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, he does NFL, he does college March Madness stuff. Like he's kind of like a younger Jim Nance. He's very versatile. He's so good.
The big stuff he does.
Yes. And he was hosting this event, the celebration of life for his dad. And of course, he's talking to Mike McCarthy, and even at a celebration of life for his dad, still has the good journalist, the good broadcaster in him. And he's doing like a Q&A with Mike McCarthy, and he was kind of like, hey.
That's cool. McCarthy went up for it.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. And he was like, hey, I got to ask you, what's going on with Aaron Rodgers? Is there going to be a reunion for you guys in Pittsburgh?
They're in Green Bay, How could you not?
And Mike McCarthy said it would be a great story. I don't know. I would love to tell everybody there's breaking news. It's really cool to see Aaron at 42 and to see, from the young man that he was at 22 and all that he's been able to accomplish and where he's at in his personal life and trying to make this decision. He's in a really good place. I think he's in a really good place. That was his answer. So,
cool.
Not a yes.
Right.
But I don't think that...
It wasn't shutting the door at all.
That doesn't throw water on the fire of... Feels like Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. Like, after hearing that and the way he, gave a... I don't know. Not politically correct's not the term that I'm looking for.
But he, sort of optimistic-ish.
Optimistic-ish kind of open-door answer. He didn't try and quell the excitement. He didn't try and throw any water on the fire. He didn't confirm it, but I think his comments were more on that side of the aisle. I just thought that was a notable thing to open with today here on the show.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like you said, he didn't throw any water on the fire. He may have sprinkled a little bit of gasoline or accelerant on there, a little bit of kerosene, something that doesn't burn quite as hot as gasoline. Definitely did not squash it at all. Aaron Rodgers might not know the answer. I mean, he could be still thinking it over. I've been operating like that's going to be the quarterback. Basically, the last 2-3 weeks, I've pretty much operated like that's the last piece of the puzzle, and it's real. And I'm looking at the puzzle as if that's already in place. But maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't take as long to get a conclusion to this saga.
Yeah, you use the word saga. I'm like, I hope it's
year.
Not a saga. I don't want to get into OTAs or past the draft.
To be fair, this is around the time that it started last year.
True.
Because I remember it very well. We do these bracket busters March Madness shows.
Oh, right. I remember you did that. Yeah.
Myself, Tom Opperman, and Tim Benz. And I still remember we were doing one of those down in the Strip District. And it was the day that Aaron Rodgers came in March to visit the Steelers at the
that
facility.
whole visit. Okay. Yeah.
And so we're supposed to be doing like this 3-hour college basketball show that just got completely hijacked by Aaron Rodgers is in town. Aaron Rodgers is in town. So obviously you're further along in this timeline of the process. But I hope it's not a saga. I hope that, a month from now we get to the first round of the NFL draft and we know the Steelers quarterback is signed, sealed, and delivered, and we can kind of kick off from there.
Yeah, and this is sort of a side note, but segues into the next move or your reported move. I think that's the only likely veteran addition between now and the draft. I think they might be done at all the other positions and waiting on Aaron or have a handshake deal with them or whatever. But I think they're pretty much done, although I didn't see the Homer move coming. But I don't think that they're going to be in the market for any other positions before the draft.
Yes, because you and I, that does transition nicely to our second piece, our second item here on the news of the day agenda, and that is Brock Hoffman, Matt.
Yeah.
We've been kind of waiting to discuss him because
it's been rumored forever.
Like 2 weeks ago, the reports first surfaced about Brock Hoffman, but then there was some water thrown on that.
Yeah.
Like, just be patient. Nothing's official yet. But now it's being widely reported by, the people that cover the Steelers.
It's not on Steelers.com yet, so it's not
and that's
official.
That's what we go by, is it's officially official when it's on Steelers.com. But, I've seen a lot of people that you and I would count as credible Steelers media members reporting it, and the Post
and the national people.
The national people, the Post Gazette is reporting it, CBS Sports is reporting it, NBC Sports reporting it. The Steelers have agreed to terms with Brock Hoffman, 26-year-old offensive lineman.
I love this move. This is one of my favorite offseason moves thus far. And my only criticism of it is it's reported to be a 1-year deal. I was hoping it was a 2-year deal, to be honest with you. So I think this is what you're getting in this young man. And he still is young and is improving. He's very physical. I mean, he's not the best athlete in the world. I mean, this is not – they didn't sign Alan Faneca, guys. He's a good player. But he's probably for depth or spot starter, etc. He's strictly an interior offensive lineman, but has experience at all three of those positions.
That's what you're looking for.
Most of his experience is at center. He won't get that here, but he's a very, very valuable backup center who I assume is going to be active every game day no matter what. And if Frazier were to go down, we keep knocking, he would slide right over, obviously. I think as it stands today, he would fight Anderson for the starting left guard job.
Mm-hmm. If we had to play a game Sunday.
Again, with only the people on the roster today, and we have a whole draft ahead of us, and you and I keep talking about early round O-lineman.
Or at least second round O-lineman.
Yeah, early round for sure.
But I guess that still falls in the early round category.
And I would not, it's not a big enough signing where I would not go after Venga or an early round lineman in any way. Now, it might be enough if it's Venga versus a tackle that can start at guard. Maybe Venga doesn't win that because he's only a guard.
Sure.
So that's a different conversation. But a buddy of mine, I do Locked on Dynasty, which is a podcast or a fantasy podcast. I'm on every Wednesday. I started it, and then I'm only a part-timer now. But Marcus Mosher is one of the full-time hosts. So I will talk to him tomorrow again about this. But I talked to him before, and the reason I'm bringing up Marcus Mosher, he's locked on Cowboys. So that's his team. He's dialed in. Happens to live like in Erie.
I was going to say, he lives in Erie, so he kind of gets the Steelers world
a lot.
too. Yeah.
But we talk once a week, and he's a really good dude, and he's really dialed in, and he doesn't just do it from his basement. Like, he knows the Cowboy stuff. But anyway, when this was originally rumored, it was like a month ago, I asked him, like, what do you think of him? He's like, their O-line was always better when he was in.
Interesting.
He was not a come-out-of-camp starter. He's one of our 5. They've done a lot of drafting there, but whenever he was in, he's like the line ran smoother. Our best games were whenever he was starting, mostly at center. He's super smart, really physical. I don't know if I guess I said he's super smart. He's not known as like this intellectual wizard. I'm sure he's no dummy, but I mean,
he's not a knuckle dragger,
right? He coordinates and makes all the calls, I guess, very adeptly, and everything ran very smooth when he was in there. And Dale and I kind of had a saying there for a while that the importance of a better version of B.J. Finney. I think I've said that here before, too. Like, B.J. Finney was a good player.
Nate Herbig.
Yeah. I think this is a better version than both those guys. That.
Oh, wow. If it's an upgrade on Herbig, that's awesome.
I'm like, I don't think yes, you lose a beat if he comes in for Frazier, of course. But he could start for teams, in my opinion. And frankly, I think it's one of the steals in free agency. I'm shocked that more people didn't look at him as a starter, spot starter. Maybe the McCarthy connection was enough for him to want to come here. I don't know what their relationship is, but they obviously overlapped in Dallas, as did Dowdle. So I love this move. I mean, again, if you had to play a game today, him and Anderson fighting for left guard, okay. Cook and Jones fighting for left tackle, that's fine. And if you happen to drop everyone knows me, I mean, drop a first-round O-lineman into that left side somewhere.
Or maybe even the 53rd pick.
Yeah, right. I mean, you may have one of the better lines in the league.
I think that would be
I think it's really shaping up.
Very good place to be.
Yeah. So I really like this move. Again, I would have liked it as a 2-year deal.
He's got a very interesting background and kind of career. Started his college career at Coastal Carolina, started all 12 games as a true freshman at center.
Yeah.
And then as a sophomore at Coastal Carolina, started all 12 games at right guard, did not allow a sack all season. 2019, he transferred to Virginia Tech, played 11 games at center his junior season, missed 1 due to injury. And then his senior year, 10 starts at center, 1 at left guard, and he had to move to right tackle against West Virginia University when the starter, Silas Desani, left the game with an injury.
Okay.
And then started the next week at center against Boston College. So, I mean, mostly center, but guard and tackle and the versatility there can clearly be seen.
Yeah.
And I also, in kind of reading through his bio and some of this information too, it looks like it would have been 2 years ago when Rico Dowdle became the first undrafted free agent in Cowboys history to rush for 1,000 yards in a season, that he kind of gave some credit to Hoffman coming in and starting for the last 7 games that year and being a big part of him being able to get over that
adds up.
That mark.
Yeah.
So
I'd imagine they have a good relationship.
Familiar with the running back, familiar with the head coach, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think I looked also on Wikipedia, and he did a couple cool things off the field too. I wanted to say, like, I think he did a lot of charity work or something like that too. That they noted that it seems like real good dude too.
Yes, his mother had in 2019 had a surgery to remove a brain tumor, and so I believe he's worked with charities in that regard.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Tried to help raise awareness and those different things, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And you mentioned kind of the intelligence level. He was on the conference commissioners list in the Sun Belt and in the ACC, which means he had at least a 3.5 or better GPA.
Again, I don't see any downside to this. And what I would be done is I'm not calling Joel Bitonio or Zeitler or any of those guys anymore. And I would much rather have the 26-year-old guy that's not just guard only, even if those guys are still slightly better players, because I am planning on drafting one at some point. And I think we kind of don't give Anderson enough credit either. I mean, he's not just this.
He's going to have his hand in the pile.
Yeah, he's just not this gimmicky 6'0" lineman dude. He's a good football player, and he has been before he started doing the 6'0" line stuff. I don't even know if they'll do the 6'0" line stuff with his staff, but Anderson's pretty good too. So they have 3 tackles, 3 guards, and a center that are pretty much guaranteed to make the team, right? I'm not missing anybody there,
Correct.
right?
Correct. I would have, if this move hadn't happened, I would probably list Ryan McCollum as a make the team guy.
I don't know if it's good news for him.
But it's not. I don't think it's good news for him, no.
Right. When they didn't pick him up as a restricted, I immediately thought the fact that he really is only a center and a guard in an emergency situation.
When you want that guy, you want that 6th man off the bench to be able to play multiple positions.
Yeah.
Your 6th man off the bench can't just be a point guard. He's got to be able to play 2 and 3.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, there's only so many active guys on game day. And if the only way McCollum can help you is if one guy gets hurt, Frazier, he probably isn't going to help you unless 3 guards get hurt and he has to play guard, which he's not good at anyway. He's not his best position anyway.
Yes.
Being a center only, you almost have to be one of the best 32 in the world.
Yes.
To really have value.
Correct. It's a tough way to make a living.
It is.
When, again, I mean, you need versatility guys as your depth pieces. And the Steelers, it's funny. It's not funny, but it's just they've done the last handful of years have done that ebb and flow where it feels like they're either completely healthy on the offensive line or they have 2 or 3 bad injuries. Mm-hmm. Hopefully this is one of those completely healthy years. But if it's not, you want that guy who can play multiple positions, wear multiple hats.
Yeah.
And Brock Hoffman certainly seems to fit that bill.
And not to discredit some of the other signings, but this is a real signing. I mean, sometimes you'll pick up a guy that no guaranteed money, you bring him to camp, far from guaranteed to making the team. This is a real addition of
like Travis Homer might fit that bill.
Yeah, I think his special team might be enough for him. I haven't seen the details of his contract, but his special team prowess might be enough that he's probably in. But sometimes you just add these dudes that are kind of flyers and bring them to camp and league minimums, no guaranteed money. This is not that guy. This is not your 53rd player. This is like your 7th O lineman, or maybe your 5th.
It's what we've been waiting for, and sounds like the Steelers have found their guy, identified their guy, and found their guy.
Yeah. And I guess they've been on the radar for quite some time. Who knows what the
You and I have the last couple of weeks been like, when do we talk about this? Well, we should wait till it seems a little more official.
Yeah, it wasn't close to official. Yeah. It was not time to talk about it weeks ago.
That's the news of the day. We're just getting started here on this Tuesday. Matt, one of the exercises that we've kind of had in the hopper for this time of year is taking a look at the division winners from 2025 and if we think they will repeat or if we like the field. So
okay, that's fun.
We'll dig into that when we return. We'll take a look at the 8 division winners. Do we like their chances to repeat? Do we like somebody else in the division to dethrone what they did in 2025? That will be the topic when we come back. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, just getting started here on a Tuesday. Get those tweets going in. We'll get to them in hour number 2. It is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.
What's up, NFL fans? The NFL Draft is finally here. And while you might not know who your team is drafting this year, you do know your watch party's #1 pick, Bud Light. The clean, crisp taste that has all the scouts talking. Guess that's why it's been the group's go-to draft beer season after season. Be sure to order a round for the table before your team's on the clock. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Back on the drive here on this Tuesday as we are getting closer and closer to the NFL Draft. Now a month away, within the month here, April 23rd, the first round on the North Shore of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Matt, with that, we've got some, I think, housekeeping exercises that we'll continue to do between now and then. And one of them, something you and I have kicked around. I know, we've shared this on air. The three of us, you and I, and our intrepid video producer, Tyler V, a.k.a. Mr. TV, kind of kick around like fun things to have, evergreen things that we can really, hey, at some point in the next couple weeks when it's a slow day, let's go to this.
Let's whip it out. Yeah, pull it and go do it. You know?
And one of those things that I wanted to get to here, because I think it'd be fun to do this again, in May or June after the draft and the dust is settled and everything, is taking a look at the 8 divisions in the NFL from 25. And you tell me, should we do it, you pick the champion to repeat or you pick the field? Or is that too easy? Should it be you pick the champion to repeat, or you have to tell us who it's going to be?
Let me just talk through it all.
Yeah, I kind of like the field at this point.
Yeah.
Because we're still waiting on the draft. We're still waiting on some potential other dominoes.
I don't think I mentioned this to you, but 2 other evergreen topics that'll be coming down the pike, maybe even this week.
Write them down.
Is for the artists formerly known as Football Outsiders that are now at FTN. They every year they put out their age, the average age of every team. They went back and they looked at every snap, how many days old
you were.
That. They really break it down, and they break it down by position. Like the Steelers were really old at quarterback,
sure,
and that can obviously inflate your age related thing.
Makes sense.
And they also do injuries, which is really good too. Who are the most injured teams? Who are the most injured defenses? I'll send you all that stuff, but they're good segments, and maybe even multiple segments.
Love it. That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. I wrote that down.
I didn't realize this, that the Cardinals were historically injured last year. Everyone just looks at them like, oh, they were terrible. And they were, and they probably would have been anyways. But, oh, by the way, they also got crushed by injuries.
Maybe they'd be picking 9th instead of 3rd.
2 more wins or something. Yeah. Right.
So, Matt, let's start. You know what? Let's do this. Let's start with the. Wait a second. Is this? See, this computer in here is so messed up. I can't even get the divisions to pull up. You want to start with let's start in the NFC at the NFC West.
That's fine. Yeah.
Because that's where the reigning Super Bowl champions are, Seattle.
Okay.
And they were, remember, down to the wire, they were the division champions last year, despite, having to hold off the Niners and having to hold off the Rams.
Yeah, that was a battle.
Till late into the season. What do we think about the NFC West?
I think the Cardinals are distant last.
Yeah,
I mean, so there's some divisions you can do that with. So I think it's a 3-horse race. I think Seattle has gotten, I don't want to say noticeably worse, but worse. I mean, the Super Bowl version is better than the March 24th version.
Which is very common for the Super Bowl champion.
It is. Then they just invested in Smith and Jigba, right.
It's tough to get better or even plateau.
It is, because you're the hunted. The Rams are noticeably better, though. And for much of the year, I thought the Rams were better than the Seahawks. It didn't go their way at the end. But I think they probably, when it was all said and done, were the best 2 teams of 2025, start to finish. And San Fran's never going away. I mean, it's just a Shanahan thing. They're just always, someone to worry about. I wouldn't say they're noticeably better or worse. I kind of think they're somewhat the same, but they do get Warner and Bosa, 2 of their biggest guys. They didn't have it all last year.
Which is very important.
Massive.
Yeah.
So I think you have to say I would bet the field over the champ.
Yes.
Because I might just pick the Rams straight out.
I would probably do the same, but I would definitely take the field.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned with San Francisco. They're getting 2 big pieces back on the defense, but they did lose Robert Saleh, which seemed like such a massive part of what they did there. But I still think they're going to be a contending type team.
Yeah. I also don't know what quite's going on with Trent Williams and his contract and his uncertainty. And Kittle got hurt really late in the year. McCaffrey's a year older. Yeah, I don't think Ayuk's going to be in the mix. Not that he was last year, but there's some uncertainty on offense. Throw Mike Evans in, though. That's not so bad, But I think you'd have to, because I think I'd probably pick the Rams to win the division. So I definitely have to take the field.
But I'm with you, though. Might have been the 2 best teams in the league last year in that same division. It was a heck of an NFC championship game.
Yeah.
I think one of the hosts on this show would rather watch the NFL draft than watch that NFC championship game.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll revisit that in our tweet segment because we got some funny tweets about that. I was thinking about that all last night. I literally had that thought. I was like, so wait, Matt's basically saying he'd rather watch the draft than watch the NFC championship game or the AFC championship game.
I guess those are close. But I mean, you walked in here, pull back the curtain, you're like, I'd rather watch the draft than a regular season Pirate game. I'm like, I'd rather watch paint dry than a regular season Pirate game. I mean,
because all night, because Matt was basically like, unless it's a Steelers game, I'd rather watch the draft. And so I'm like, okay, I would rather watch the NFL draft than an NBA or an MLB regular season game. World Series, different conversation.
Yeah.
Regular season.
Obviously.
But other than that, if it's any true top-level competition, if it's an NFL game, hockey game, college, March Madness, college football playoff.
You're picking the game. You're the actual action. I want
the action. Yeah. But maybe we'll revisit some of those because we did get some funny tweets. Everyone, I think, thinks now that I hate the draft. I like the draft. I just don't love it like some people.
Watch. I mean, it's a weird spectator sport. Because it itself is not a sport.
When the season returns in September, I would rather watch any Week 1 NFL game.
I totally understand. Yeah. I mean, in terms of what you're going to do for an hour or 10 hours or whatever. Right?
Well, that's also the games are much shorter than the 3-day event that is now the draft.
And there's obviously round 1 versus round 7 is a different planet, obviously.
Totally.
Right?
Well, we did get some funny tweets about that.
Yeah, we'll handle that later.
We'll revisit that in an hour, too. So let's go from probably the best division in football last year to probably the worst, the NFC South.
Yeah. Carolina won it. People might even forget these things. Who won the
People might forget that. I think Carolina has had a pretty good offseason to this point, too.
I do, too. I think Tampa's going the wrong direction.
I think New Orleans is ascending.
By the way, Levante David retired today, too.
He did, yeah.
Phenomenal career. Good for him. I don't know if he'll go to the Hall of Fame, but he's definitely an easy Ring of Honor type guy. Great career, so congrats to him.
I think New Orleans is ascending. I think the Bucs are going the wrong direction. I think the Falcons are kind of in between. Wait to see with Stefanski.
But I don't think there's great vibes in Atlanta. No. I mean, they're kind of setting up. I mean, not to be too nerdy, but their salary cap really opens up next year. So it's kind of a take your vegetables year
similar
for them.
Similar to Miami. Not quite to the Dolphins' extent, but similar.
So this one's tough for me.
It's a 2-horse race for me for the Saints and the Panthers.
Okay. Although, I think the Bucs are still in it.
I was going to say, probably shouldn't write the Bucs off completely.
No, I mean, they won it like 5 years in a row.
And they might have the best quarterback in that division if Baker's healthy.
Probably. But I also could say Shuck is a year from now. I mean, I could at least tell the story where he gets noticeably better and everybody else kind of stays the same.
I'm taking the field as we talk it out.
The field's the smart bet. Like, it definitely would pay more if you took Carolina if this was Vegas odds. But if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Carolina. That's different than taking the field. You know what I mean?
Even more so than New Orleans is just an interesting
I still think they have a lot of holes, but I like they're going the direction they're going. The field's the smart move. Because it's probably even odds on like Tampa, New Orleans, and Carolina. And so therefore, the field's better.
Opposite of Seattle, we could, I think, make a very easy argument that Carolina's better right now than they were 2 months ago.
Yes, agreed. Their front seven's pretty darn good now. You had Lloyd and Phillips.
NFC North, Matt, Bears breaking their drought that was, I mean, not crazy long, but I think about it had been close to a decade since they had won a division title. You got Green Bay hanging around and Love and Parsons hopefully being healthier.
Sure.
Detroit, they're certainly not the same beast that they were a couple years ago, but
they're good.
They're still good.
Yeah.
And Minnesota, if Kyler Murray has some type of career resurgence, could absolutely be a factor.
Yeah.
This might be the hardest one to pick because there's not a bad team in that. There's not they're only going to win 3 or 4 games.
There's no Arizona.
There's no Arizona in that division, yes.
But I think you have to take the field.
Yes.
I love where Chicago's at. They're ahead of schedule, and I don't think it's fluky. Like a year ago, I said Washington's ahead of schedule, and they're going to bounce back, and I was right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Chicago all of a sudden is going to be a 6-win team, and that was a fluke. They were ahead of themselves at all. But the rest of the division's just so strong. I mean, the chances, maybe they have a 33% chance to win the division, but it's not over 50.
No.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the division
is really good.
Is legit, yeah.
I'm not even sure who I would pick at this point. And there is a case that, I mean, Minnesota is probably 4th, but if you pick them to win division, I'm like, I get it. They won 15 games a year before, and they had the worst quarterback play in the league.
They're 4th, but Matt, I think they're by far the best 4th place team from 2025. You get what I'm saying?
Probably the best 4th place team right now.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say so. Most division has a stinker,
Most divisions have a stinker. Yeah, they've you got Tennessee or Las Vegas or Arizona or Cleveland, the Jets, and the Dolphins, but this division does not have a stinker, which makes it very tough to predict somebody to repeat. Last, but certainly not least in the NFC, it's the division that until the last couple years was impossible to predict because there was, I think 11 or 12 straight years of a different, not having back-to-back winners of the NFC East. Philly obviously broke that streak. Philly has been, I think, by far the best team in that division for the last few years.
Definitely the most stable, strongest organization.
And they've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years and 3 in the last 8 or 9 years, whatever it is now. I think the Cowboys are the only real threat. I think Washington will be better, but I'm still not going to pick them to win the division.
I think
the Giants will be better, but I'm definitely not picking them to win the division.
Yeah, I think Harbaugh helps that team a lot. It
Absolutely.
might bring them closer to 500, and maybe they go 3-3 in the division or something like that.
Maybe around Christmas they're still on the outside, but in the hunt for a wild card spot,
and maybe Dart looks like a dude. And and Washington, I think, got a little better, and I was just hard on them, but they were a Final Four team a year ago. Mm-hmm. That's not to be laughed at, I think this could be Dallas's year that they'd be the best they've been in a while, and they've been kind of setting it up to do that.
Yeah.
And the Eagles lost some stuff. O-line coach, D coordinator. Some big stuff, Did Fangio leave? Yeah. No, he did not.
No, he did not.
There was rumor about
but Stoutland did.
Stoutland
and
did.
the A.J. Brown.
I don't think he's going to be on the team in opening day. I think that's a post-draft trade.
That's a good one.
I'll still take the Eagles, though.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah, I trust them.
I feel like they are so volatile. But I've also been saying that for 2 years now.
But you've been right.
I mean,
they have been volatile. They have these stretches where they look terrible for months, and then they win the Super Bowl,
They've also won 2 division titles in the Super Bowl in the last 2 years. So I guess if that is volatile, but it's good volatility, I don't know.
Overall, the results are pretty strong.
Yes. And I think that will continue. I don't know if that Super Bowl window for them is wide open anymore, but I certainly think they're still the best team in the division. Cowboys will have a say in it.
They'll definitely have the shortest odds to win the division.
Yes.
It's just, is it enough to say you want the other 3 or the Eagles? I think I'll take the Eagles.
I think so, too. I don't think A.J. Brown is on that roster.
I don't either.
That just seems like there's been too much smoke and there's got to be fire to that situation.
I think the draft will tell us a lot. Like if they take Lemon or Tyson or Boston or somebody like that, it's like, I don't think Brown's coming back.
That typically is the case. But then if you were going to take a wide receiver high, wouldn't you want to try and move him before that so you would have more leverage? I don't know. Different conversation for a different day.
I just know that there's some weird cap stuff with his contract. And they're pretty smart. And I give Howie too much credit. But if you trade him after the draft, you can get picks for next year's draft, which nobody wants to part with and everybody wants. Just a thought.
Matt Williamson always got the angles. We'll take a look at the AFC to close down the first hour of the show. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Down the home stretch of the first hour of the show here, talking 2025 NFL division winners and if they will repeat in 2026. On to the AFC, and let's start, Matt, in the AFC East with the team who won the conference.
I think this was kind of a fun one.
This is a fun one because it had been Buffalo. This division has been Tom Brady owned it forever.
Right.
And then it was like passed the baton to Josh Allen, and they won it for, 6 or 7 straight years. And then
now this May character shows up.
Now this May character shows up, and all of a sudden, New England back at it and won the division close. Were able to hold off the Buffalo Bills. I do think, Matt, stop me if you disagree, but I think we can already write off the Jets and the Dolphins as potential division winners.
That's why I thought this was kind of an interesting conversation, because it's the only team with really 2 stinkers. Could get first pick in the draft stinkers, even if everybody stays healthy on their team.
They could, they could both very easily be picking in the top 3, top 5.
Yeah, they might pick 1 and 2. They're probably. I'm sure there's odds out there that you can bet, and they're probably the shortest ones out there. So it really comes down to a coin flip, or who do you prefer, the Bills or the Patriots? The Jets and Dolphins don't influence this one bit. Some of these other conversations, at least it's like, I could write a story where the Falcons win the division. I can't write a Jets or Dolphins story. No. I'm really unimpressed with the Bills' offseason and, frankly, leadership lately. And I don't think moving from McDermott necessarily is going to pay off. And I don't agree with many of their moves. And I'm kind of the opposite with New England. So I'm going to take the winner. New England won it last year.
So this would be, I think, the first, and maybe I guess you could say the Eagles, but maybe the first one that we're fairly confident in that regard. I'm
not fairly confident because, I think it's pretty close.
Yeah,
Bills versus them is probably
I lean towards everything,
51-49.
I lean towards everything you just said. I think New England is moving in the right direction organizationally, where I think the Bills are taking some steps back. Having said that,
right,
last year was a perfect storm of everything going New England's way. They played 3 teams the entire regular season that made the playoffs.
Yeah.
3 games against teams that made the playoffs. It was the Steelers and the Bills twice.
Okay. Yeah.
And
right.
maybe there was one more in there, but 3 or 4 games against postseason teams.
I think they went 1 and 2 against them. Now I think about it.
Now that they have the first place schedule, that's not going to be the case.
No.
They're not going to play 80% of their games against teams that don't make the playoffs. And I always point this out when people are like, that team hasn't beat anybody. It's not Ohio State playing Akron.
No, of course not.
Like, it's still the NFL. But when you only played, I think it was 3 franchises in the Bills twice. So 4 games last year against teams that made the playoffs. Like,
that's pretty, it's noteworthy.
Everything went their way for them to win the division.
I bet that when I talked about like that FTN health thing, I bet they were near the top of the league in health. They are not a typical Super Bowl roster. Just in terms of strengths and weaknesses,
yes.
And you know what I mean?
Agree with you on that.
Right,
So this, to me, I lean slightly to New England just because of the stability. But I also, I think life's going to be much more difficult on them in 26 than it was in 25.
And even with McDermott gone, there is a been there, done it factor of the Bills of we compete every year. Like see if you can do it back-to-back years. We can. There's a strong case to pick the Bills.
And I know a lot of people have soured on Josh Allen and his recent postseason performances.
I think you're insane.
But that's also not this conversation. This conversation is winning games in September and October and November and, where Josh Allen has a pretty good track record of doing that over the last, 6 or 7 years. What if Drake May doesn't take another step forward?
Or he goes backwards.
Or even goes backwards.
He's probably as likely to go backwards than forwards. I doubt he's going to be a MVP finalist. I love him, but it's just how the world works. It's not like he's going to be the best quarterback in the league next year. No doubt about it. Quarterback advantage is still Buffalo.
Yes.
It just is.
But the majority of the other advantages might, Buffalo might have quarterback and offensive line, but then those are 2
good start.
Big pieces. And then after that, it might be New England. That's a tough one though. That might be
one of the hardest. That's why
I think is more difficult even than maybe Rams in Seattle and San Francisco. Maybe the NFC North with all those teams. That's a tough one. It's a real tough one. I
guess I'll take champion as opposed to field, but. That's really as much a coin flip as we've had yet, in my opinion, for that conversation.
Let's take a look at the next AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Matt, this was 3 really good teams in this division last year.
Yeah.
3 playoff teams. Well, no, pardon me. Indianapolis and the Colts fell off. But and I think Tennessee is towards the top of the conversation of teams that have improved the most this offseason.
Yes, agreed.
So this one becomes interesting. It's going to be, I think, tough for the Colts because Daniel Jones' health.
Yeah. But they were running away with the division when times were good.
They were.
I always think about that Steeler game was like their line of demarcation. Before that, there was like, this team's on fire. They hadn't beat, I remember previewing them that week. It's like, they really haven't beaten anybody, but they're the best offense in the league, and Jonathan Taylor looks like the MVP. They were rolling.
And so for that reason, I think I'm definitely taking the field here in the AFC South. Not because I think Jacksonville's going to stink or go backwards.
No, I think they're here to stay.
But Houston's not going anywhere. I think the Titans got much better, and I think the Colts might not be a bona fide contender or anything like that, but I think they're going to be a problem.
I agree. I'm also going to take the field. I have great respect for the Texans, especially the
best defense in the NFL.
I think they're well coached. I think they did a lot on offense with the line to, remedy some weaknesses. Doesn't seem like much, but they're going to hand the ball to David Montgomery. They'll probably average 4 yards a carry for the first time in forever. I don't think Jacksonville's going away, though. I think the Lawrence-Cohen combination there is a winning one, for sure. The quarterback, head coach. They're going to get Hunter back from injuries. I mean, that's huge, Travis Hunter. But I guess you could also make the argument, did Stroud turn into a pumpkin? Is he bad now? Is Jones not going to be there to start the season? Is Tennessee just still a year away from being a year away?
Sure.
But I'm definitely taking the field.
Yes.
But I don't know if Jacksonville's the favorite or if Houston should be the favorite. Probably Jacksonville. I don't know. That's a tough call.
That is a tough call. I guess it all depends on how you view C.J. Stroud for the 2026 campaign.
Yeah. I tend to still am a believer, but man,
there might be some people out there saying that Trevor Lawrence is in the same boat. Like
1 year wonder, he
hasn't proved that he can consistently string
there's
together.
An argument for that too.
Yeah, Matt, the AFC West, the Denver Broncos. Finally, speaking of another long reign that was ended, much like in Buffalo, Kansas City's long stretch of division titles came to an end at the hand of the Denver Broncos, who found themselves in the AFC Championship game. The Chargers are improved. The Chiefs are they deserve a lot of benefit of the doubt, but I think they're still a big wild card heading into the season.
Like the analytics folks will love the Chiefs this year because they lost so many one-score games and they had a lot of bad luck and
they'll get an easier schedule than they've had in a few years.
Yes, and they pick earlier than usual. They had a couple of first-round picks. They had some real goofy things like every field goal attempted against them went through the uprights. Like they had the worst field goal luck you've ever heard. Weird stuff like that. This is a tough one though. Like in most good divisions, I think it's easy just to say I'll take the field.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
the NFC North. It's
exactly.
Any of those 4 teams can win the division. I'll take the field.
So I'm not going to take the champ. Maybe I'd pick them if I had to pick one of the 4 teams, but you take the field. I have respect for the Chargers. I have respect for Herbert and Mahomes, obviously. I think Denver's really good.
I do too.
I think Denver's really good, and they added Waddle.
And I think Bo Nix being back and healthy.
I assume he'll be fine to start
year number
the season.
3 for him, really.
Right. That's the best defense in the division.
And what about what if the Chargers' offensive line goes from the worst in football, which it was last year without Alton and Slater, to a top 3 offensive line in football when they get 2 of the best tackles in the league back?
Right.
I mean,
and Harbaugh's going to have them competitive, and he had them competitive with the worst O-line.
Right.
Right. I wonder if the best of the Chiefs has come and gone, but
True.
Part of me also wonders is like
they can still win 11 games and win the division.
Is Mahomes just going to take it personal this year? Is this just going to be
totally
just killing everybody? But he is going to start the season banged up.
That's a very good point.
I think I'll take the champ, but I'm shocked I am.
Dang. The Mahomes.
It's not the smart bet.
It might be, though. Because what if
they're good?
What if Mahomes isn't fully Mahomes until Halloween?
I mean, they traded for Justin Fields for a reason.
They did.
I mean, the teams tell you what they think, and that makes me think that they don't think he's going to be there for week 1.
I think I'll take the field, but this one's tough too, man. This one's very tough.
I bet the field would pay less than picking Denver. You know what I mean? $1 wins you.
Because you're right. The odds makers are going to love the Chiefs bouncing back. The Chargers factor into this conversation.
The Raiders are actually better. I just can't imagine them being a worst to first.
Absolutely not. The Raiders hopefully will not be a pushover again. I don't think they will be. I think the Raiders and the Titans are going to battle it out for most improved teams in the NFL this year. Now, what that means in the grand scheme of things, do they win 5 games? Do they win 7 games?
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I don't know if either one they'll be picking in the top 5 again.
I don't expect them to pick in the top 5, but I don't expect them to be contending for a division title at Thanksgiving.
No.
Or Christmas or whatever.
No, I agree with that.
Matt, that leaves just one more. The AFC North, where your Pittsburgh Steelers are the reigning champions, and we only have about 30 seconds till we got to take a break. So guess what? We're going to tease it.
Hover.
And we're going to kick off hour number 2.
Okay.
Talking about the AFC North and who will be the kings in the North in 2026. We'll do that. We'll get to your tweets. A whole bunch of moving and shaking in hour number 2. Halfway home on the drive. Uhler, Williamson, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How you doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here of The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, and we are going to get to some of your tweets. We are going to get to some more pre-draft conversation, but we have to close down what we were talking about in the first hour of the show.
Yeah.
Division winners from last year and if they will repeat or if we're taking the field. And we have one left, and it's our very own, the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North.
Yes.
Matt?
This is a tough one.
It is. It's one of the more fun. If we were
trying to be as neutral as possible,
if we were neutral nation radio, we'd be like, this is a fun one.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers and the Ravens, the two teams that have kind of run things for the most part, both have new coaches, new eras, new coaching staffs. The Bengals are the lone one that's kind of running it back, and they obviously have a loaded offense, but can the defense be good enough? Mm-hmm. I do think we could probably rule the Browns out for the sake of this conversation.
Yeah, I think they're one of the stinkers. They're the Cardinals, Jets level team. That yes. I don't see many wins in their future unless Shador becomes a superstar or something crazy happens. A lot of coaching changes. That's weird. 3 of the 4 have new coaches.
Nuts.
Yeah, it'd be like Harbaugh's going to keep it in it. Tomlin's going to keep him in it.
They were the 2 longest tenured coaches in the league.
Yeah,
and now they're
really
both
knew
gone
what you were getting.
Offseason. Yeah.
Again, I'm trying. I am being as impartial as I possibly can be, and I'll be the first to recognize I'm slightly not impartial because
we grew up here,
right?
We work here,
right?
We wear black and gold glasses, but we do our best. We don't want to be. We don't want to be unapologetically Homer,
right? And I have so much respect for Lamar and Burrow too. Those two are a massive advantage. Speaking of which, I wanted to open this segment with, I'm operating as if Rodgers is a quarterback.
I think for this conversation we need to.
I'm not going to operate like Howard's going to start week 1. That's not the way I'm going to address this conversation.
I'm with you.
It shocked me. I think this changed pre-Waddle trade, but Baltimore had the shortest odds to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. I just didn't see that. I still think Baltimore's got as many questions as they have answers. And Lamar could win the MVP and they could win 14 games again. I think that is definitely in the realm of possibility for them. And I just don't think the draft's going to solve all their problems. I still think they have a lot of problems. Cincy, I fear. I think there is something to, I don't think he's the greatest coach in the world, but I think being the incumbent coach has a little bit of an advantage, maybe early in the season, just knowing the division and the opponents and the stadiums and the quarterbacks and all that. And I think their offense is awesome. It might be the best in the league. I think
that part's undeniable.
Yeah. It might be the best in the league. It's a pretty awesome unit. But Steelers won the division last year, and I think their roster's noticeably better. Noticeably better. In several spots, second corner, second receiver, pretty much across the board, I think they're a better team than when we saw them last. So I might pick the Steelers to win the division, with Rodgers as it stands today. Not to mention they're going to get the most help in the draft, I would think. They don't have the earliest pick, but they get the most picks. Mm-hmm. But I think you have to take the field. Cincy, if you went to Vegas, I bet Cincy has a.
Do you want to know the Vegas odds? I got them.
Yeah, I bet they're a 25% chance to win the division, which carries a lot of weight or something like that.
They're actually the second odds-on favorite behind Baltimore.
Yeah, I bet that's how
even
the world
better odds
them.
Than the Steelers. So the Steelers, according to Vegas, the 3rd most likely team to win the division.
Okay, I'm not shocked by that.
We actually, when we're done with this conversation, we should run through just real quick the rest of these odds to kind of piggyback off the conversation that we had. So we're ruling out Cleveland. I think everyone is on the same page.
Yeah. As a division winner, yeah.
With the other 3 teams, I think each has a clear pro and a clear con.
Yeah, I agree.
For the Bengals, the pro is, well, maybe there's kind of 2, but the offense is one of the best in the league, and you're the only team in the division that has head coaching continuity.
Yeah, I don't know how much to weigh that, but I think it's noteworthy.
And we could even argue if that was a smart or a dumb decision by Cincinnati, but I think at least out the gate, that gives you some slight edge in that department.
Yeah, I think so.
For the Ravens, the pro is you've got one of the best quarterbacks in the world.
A lot of recent success.
And a lot of recent success. The con is I don't think your roster's nearly as talented as it's been the last couple years.
Agreed.
And Derrick Henry is a declining product. Mm-hmm. He should go to the Hall of Fame one day.
Oh, yeah.
He's what, 32 or 33-year-old running back. So their run game's not as potent as it was.
And I'll be honest. I mean, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this since we've done shows, but like betting on rookie head coaches is not real smart. It's hard. There's no manual for how to be a head coach. I think it's a really good hire by Baltimore, but he's going to make mistakes early on. I mean, like
even if you like,
not cost some games.
Even if you like that hire more than Mike McCarthy. McCarthy's been a head coach in the NFL before.
Yes, there's no guidebook to parenting. You're going to make mistakes.
Brother, there is no guidebook to parenting.
Right.
I got a funny story about that I should tell you guys in our tweet segment from this morning. Look at Vrabel. Like, do you think Vrabel would have had that success hitting the ground running in New England if it was his very first time ever being a head coach in the NFL?
No, right.
He needed that Tennessee experience.
Sure.
So I think that's
I think there's learning to be an NFL head coach takes time.
And then for the Steelers, I would say the pro is, I think of all these teams, your roster has improved the most from where you were at the end of the season.
I agree with that.
The con to me, though, Matt, is I think at best you have the third best quarterback play in the division.
Yes.
And this one's so tough for me because I think
you're almost certain to have the third best.
If we're
going to operate like Rodgers is here. Yeah.
Almost certain, unless Deshaun Watson comes back and it's 2020 all over again. Or
it's assuming everybody stays healthy, of course. Right.
But I the quarterback evaluation for, again, assuming Aaron Rodgers, is tough for me because I think his weapons got better and I think the offensive line will get better.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a year older and he had his limitations last year. So
do we think he's going to be better?
No.
Right.
I would be willing to bet a lot of money he's not better.
Right.
But
system might help him
if
more.
The system and the wide receivers and the line around him are better, his numbers could be the same or maybe even a little bit better.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah.
So this one's tough. It's hard for me not to take the field.
He's not going to be better at eluding pressure.
No, he is not.
You know what I mean? Things like that. Like if you break down each skill set.
Standing in the pocket and not checking down the ball as much and all those things.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough not to take the field. But I don't know. So much for it for me depends upon what Aaron Rodgers really looks like. Because if he plateaus, I think the Steelers are going to have a great chance to win double-digit games again and go back to the playoffs.
I do too.
But if he takes half a step back, that could be a massive difference.
It could.
Or, Matt, he played 16 out of 17 games last year. 17 out of 18 if you count the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What if he misses 4 or 5 this year?
Yeah.
I mean,
Burrow and Lamar traditionally miss a lot,
but that's also
but
a fair
they're
point.
also not
Burrow
43.
And Lamar don't have the greatest.
But they're not
track
43
record
either, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, what if Cam Hayward gets hurt? Right? Or Jamar Chase. What if only one of Tomlin or Harbaugh was back?
Oh, that would change everything.
Like if the Ravens had Harbaugh right now, I'd be like,
that would probably be enough for me to pick Baltimore to win the division.
I agree. If the Ravens didn't have Harbaugh and the Steelers had Tomlin,
I'd say the Steelers have the coaching continuity advantage.
I doubt they're going to be have a losing season.
Exactly right.
That puts you in the hunt.
Exactly
you know what
right.
I mean? Right. And I don't think McCarthy's going to win 5 games. He has a pretty good track record too, but he's new around here.
This is one of the
might be
more
the hardest
interesting.
division.
It might be, especially when you consider the turnover at the coaching spot.
But nobody agrees with us because the top 2 teams in Vegas,
Baltimore,
so everyone on the planet would
Cincinnati.
take the field.
Yeah,
I just think the Steelers are going to be in it.
I definitely think the Steelers are going to be in it, but I also think as we sit here today, the field is the smart bet.
Oh, it is. It is. After the draft, though, I might be. I'm taking the Steelers to win this division.
Maybe.
And Rodgers in tow, and I mean, they easily could be my AFC North pick.
Very, very much so. And we'll revisit this exercise, sometime in May or after the draft. Okay, so real quick as we wrap this up, the other division winner futures as it sits here today. The Houston Texans are a slight favorite over the Jags to win the AFC
Yes,
South.
I get that. Yeah.
Colts in third, but
pretty distant.
They're closer to the Jags than they are the Titans, but pretty distant.
Yeah.
Matt, the Kansas City Chiefs, the slightest of favorites in the AFC West.
I expected that, but I would not bet them
over the Chargers.
Oh, I did not expect that part. Okay.
Denver third.
I might put a couple bucks down on Denver to win the division.
I think that's a smart bet.
Yeah.
AFC West, it is the Bills with a slight edge over the Patriots.
And that has to be super close.
And then, as you can imagine, the Jets and the Dolphins are like the longest odds in the league, other than the Raiders. So that's it for the AFC. NFC, oh my goodness, no way. The Lions are the slight favorite in the North, just ahead of the Packers and slightly ahead of the Bears. But the Vikings not too far off either. Yeah.
Okay.
They're all close, but the Lions actually the slight favorite.
I'm a little shocked they're number one. I thought it'd be the Packers.
Same. Eagles the favorite in the NFC East. That doesn't surprise anybody. Not sizably, but a little bit over the Cowboys. Like, Cowboys aren't, like as close as the Packers are to the Lions.
Yeah.
But they're pretty decisively second in the division.
I bet they're a very distinct 1, 2, 3.
They are a very distinct 1, 2, 3 in the NFC East. NFC West, the Rams are a slight favorite over the Seahawks.
Are they?
Niners not too far behind them, and then the Cardinals, obviously crazy odds.
Yeah.
And then in the NFC South, the Bucks are the favorite. Saints 2, Panthers 3, Falcons 4. Although much like the NFC North, there's not much separating those
all four.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Falcons are plus 400, which is not crazy long odds.
No, for a fourth place team.
Like the Cardinals are plus 8,000 to win the division.
right.
The Falcons are plus 400. That's a little bit different.
A little different if that's the longest shot.
I enjoyed that exercise.
That's kind of fun, yeah.
We have got 2 segments to go, and we're going to get to your questions, comments, concerns, reactions, your participation on the X Twitter, as our guy Dale would have called it, as we roll along for the rest of hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, back in a flash. It's The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here as we roll along on this Tuesday, hour number 2. And once again, Matt, we did this last week. We'll do it again here today. We have gotten so many tweets. I love it.
That's crazy,
The participation is awesome. I mean, I'm looking, 3, 6, 9, 10. I mean, there's like almost 24 tweets that we've gotten in the last day or so. And it's fantastic. We love it.
Yeah, keep them coming, guys.
Keep them coming. We appreciate it. I realize we don't do much of this during the season because there's really no time. But this time of year, we have plenty of time. This time of year, plenty of time. That's a little Department of Redundancy department. But you get what I'm saying. We appreciate it. We're going to double up here today. A lot of draft questions, a lot of Steelers questions, a couple funny tidbits from our NFL draft debate that we had yesterday.
That's what you said, yeah.
During this segment. So let's get into all of this here as we roll along for the rest of the second hour. Matt leads us off today. He says, hey, fellas, haven't checked in a minute. You guys are doing a great job this offseason. I was just wondering if processing is more of a draftable trait for quarterbacks than it used to be. Back in the day, before analytics, everyone feels like just talked about arm strength, falling in love with the Jay Cutler types of the world. Now it feels like they value mind over skill. That's a good question by Matt.
That's a good question. I lean towards yes, that he's probably right. Well, there's a lot more quick-hitting plays. Again.
Mitigate the pass rush.
Defensive lines are better than offensive lines. Yeah, and that gap is widening because the defensive linemen are insanely talented. So I definitely, I'm sure there's somewhere you could find this. It would take a lot of work. But I bet the average time to throw is much less now than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Like, if you really go back to, like, Bradshaw.
5-step drops and
7-step drops. And, and then chuck it deep. There was, and then Walsh changed all that with boom, 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 comes out.
Time.
Yeah. But still, I bet that processing has definitely become more of a, if it was the third most important thing, now it's second or first. You know what I mean? If you were to prioritize all the traits of a quarterback, which is hard to do, but And
it is like these guys all now, they've got quarterback coaches and specific training since they're in middle school,
Yeah.
And it is, the more I'm thinking about this and as you were giving your answer, and like when we talk about when we always reference the best quarterbacks of all time, and we reference Aaron Rodgers as part of that conversation, and the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings.
Yeah.
Almost always we go to how smart they are above the neck as opposed to, and we know they all have freakish arm talent, obviously. But
but they're not the best thrower. Well, Rodgers is, but Manning and Brady aren't the best throwers of all time. Right?
It seems like the whole above the neck thing is something we automatically go to.
Yeah, or even like the Elways of the world that maybe took a while before they were really strong above the neck, or I still think athleticism now though is super important. That's not what was asked, because it wasn't like because I know that the bar the athlete and playmaker and runner you have to be has gone up dramatically, but I also think the processing has too.
At both of the arm strength is probably still the same that they've been looking for.
Sure.
Whereas the athleticism and the IQ have skyrocketed.
But nobody wants the Bledsoe drop back, standing there, take a hit, drive the ball, through the elements or whatever without any mobility.
Exactly right. That was a good question by Matt. Joe tweets and says, with the new coaching staff and regime of Mike McCarthy, is it overreacting?
One other thing I'm going to mention there too. I don't 100% trust them. Like, you'll never see them on Matt's stats for game week and things like that. But some of these advanced charting people, including NFL.com, will chart first read percentage. Like he threw to his first read 47% of the time in that game. This game, it was 60% or whatever it was, And a lot of that's how well was the play designed. If the guy in the booth has something to do with that, or the actual play designer, the route runner. But like Tua was really high on that list. Like it went to the first read, or he was in trouble. You know what I mean? Like that was one of the problems. But he was a really good first read guy. But maybe you could even find out, or maybe we're close to finding out statistically who's good, who's bad with processing and first read stuff, processing's a bigger word. Like, how well do you go from 1 to 2? You don't get stuck on one. Mm-hmm. I go from 1 to 2
or you
to
identify
3.
The things you can identify pre-snap.
Right, all the Rodgers stuff that makes one much easier because I know the corner's coming, or
Joe tweets and says, with the new coaching staff and the regime of Mike McCarthy, am I overreacting when I say I'm expecting the offense to look more legit despite who plays quarterback?
Legit is selling Arthur Smith a little short. It's not selling Matt Canada short. I mean, the Matt Canada offense was, I am not an X's and O's guy, but it was very rudimentary in terms of route distribution and, the schematically. I think it's going to look a lot different. I don't know that it'll look a lot more legit. I mean, people act like this was a bad offense. I mean, it's been middle of the road pretty much since Smith has been here, even with some up and down quarterback play, to say the least. It's going to look a lot different. It's not going to have as many heavy bodies out there. I
don't know about the whole despite who plays. I understand the premise of the question.
Right. I mean, if Rudolph's out there for 17 games, it's not going to be a great offense.
Or
a legit offense. Yeah. Right. And everyone will blame the coaches, but,
but I do think there should be an uptick in offensive production.
Yes.
And I don't even think that has to be there was.
I think there'll be an uptick in offense production.
I think if you gave Mike Tomlin truth serum and asked him, would you rather win 31-28 or 10-7? He would say, I'd rather win 10-7. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers do. That's what we do.
I think that's how he's wired.
Guy.
Yeah.
If you ask Mike McCarthy, he'd probably rather win 28-24.
Yes.
And so I think with that, the offense will look different and will look, quote unquote, more like what we think the top offenses look like aesthetically.
Yeah. And I guess if you want to stick with the word legit that was in the tweet, McCarthy's always orchestrated a legit NFL offense.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a long track record of doing it. I have no doubt that his offense will be legit. I kind of took it the other way, like, you're kind of being rough on the old guy. But McCarthy's offenses are always legit, right.
I think it's you hire Robert Saleh, you know what to expect with your defense.
Yeah,
you hire Mike McCarthy, you know what to expect with your offense.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to point it.
Mr. Steel City tweets us and says, with the draft being a month away, how far along are teams currently in building their draft boards? And would it be safe to assume that the Steelers are much further along with, say, their wide receiver draft board than their center positional rankings? I think absolutely to the second part of that.
Yeah, but I don't even know.
Or is it just all done in one?
I don't even know if
tandem?
there's magnets on a board yet. I think all the grades are basically in. But, I mean, to pull back the curtain, I did 1 year in a war room.
They're still doing pre-draft visits, too, so that's going to affect how they're board.
I mean, we really buckled down for like 2 weeks, 12 days, something like that. Today was safety day. You walked in there on safety day, and there's a huge board, and the safety coach is there. I hope
everyone's watching this on YouTube so they can see Matt. You walk in,
it's a big war room, right? And there's magnets, obviously somebody has it on a computer too, but you move the magnets around and all that.
Oh, they still do that, yeah.
I think they should. It's just a good visual.
Yes.
But the O-line coach isn't in there on safety day. The offensive coordinator's not in there, but the DC is, your secondary coach. D-line coach isn't, but every area scout is. GM, head coach, everyone, the decision makers, of course. And you spent at least an entire 12-hour day. Let's say take an hour lunch, go work out, get out of here, get your mind right.
Yeah, just refresh your mind.
Because we're going to be here a long time. Yeah. And we've been talking safeties for 12 hours where we would build our vertical board, just safeties. Who's our favorite safety? Okay, it's Downs. We're not going to fight too much about that. But now we're going to fight about 2 versus 3. And the later you get, the more you fight.
Absolutely.
Fourth rounders versus fifth rounders are not Downs versus the field. You know what I mean? So that was not happening yet. I mean, that was closer to the draft than now. I think they won all the pro days.
Pro days going on.
Yeah.
They're getting close to that point, but not quite yet.
We were talking about this on my other podcast. I think the Beast comes out every year, April 1st. Because I think the last pro day is right before that.
I think the last pro days are this Friday, aren't they?
That sounds about right. Yeah, I think you're right. I
think so.
I know it's right a little before April 1st.
And then the owners' meetings start a couple days later.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Now, when you build your vertical board of safeties, that doesn't mean that those magnets are set in stone. I mean, you could come back a week later and be like, this one's really bugging me. Let's talk it out again, But I'm sure they've done more research on wide receivers than centers. Collectively, as a scouting staff, coaching staff, wide receiver coaches definitely watch way more wide receivers than the center, or O-lines coach watch centers. But that's always the case. There's 3 of them on the field compared to 1.
March 31st is the final pro day for
okay, so that's a week from today.
Tuesday. Yeah, it's a week from today.
Yeah, I think today's the 24th. So I don't know if I'm answering that perfectly, but I'm trying to think when you actually buckled down for the war room days.
Early April, I would imagine.
Yeah, but I don't think it's yet.
Not yet. They've got some semblance of that going on, obviously.
But they have a really strong feeling of what positions are strong and where, we're going to attack receiver in round 2. We're going to, we can wait to the 4th round to a safety, et cetera, et cetera. But the board's far from set.
Couple questions here from one of our loyal tweeters, Sudesh. He has a couple for us. These are good. First one, along the lines of the JSN conversation yesterday. We meant you. I think it was you, Matt, who said he's not my wide receiver number 1, but he's close. Sudesh wonders, just curious, who your wide receiver number 1 would be.
Chase.
I had a feeling that was going to be your answer.
Maybe Jefferson still. That poor guy had no help from quarterbacks at all last year, and I don't think he got any worse. And I think they were neck and neck last we saw. His numbers just fell off, but I don't think it was his fault. I mean, to me, those guys are really strong Hall of Fame cases, almost to the equivalent of a Mahomes or a TJ or, somebody that's just has the Hall of Fame resume since day one and have kept it up and are in their primes. That's not JSN to me, even though, JSN, Nakua had the best years. I don't know that I would rather I'd rather play against JSN than Jamar Chase, for sure.
Yes.
And they're all awesome, but I still think Chase is the best.
Second one from Sudesh is, what are your thoughts on linebacker edge rusher from LSU, Harold Perkins Jr.? Haven't talked too much about him.
I know. His pro day yesterday.
I was going to say that some of those LSU guys with their pro day had themselves good days.
We were talking Miami and LSU pro day today, so this is actually on my mind. Delane ran really well. He ran like a 4.35. Now, some of these pro day ones, sometimes you got to be careful where you get them from. That's also one of the beauties.
Ohio State 39-yard track.
It's also one of the beauties of the beast is he gets verified pro day numbers, which is hard to do. But Delane was only 183 pounds.
Whew.
I mean, that's lean for
that's light.
First corner off the board type guy. Perkins, I don't know who the Steelers' visits are rumored to be, but I think he's one of them because I've gotten tweets about him. Tell me about it. That's why Perkins' names keeps coming up.
I think so, yeah. Well, we can dig into that. I'll do a little research on that tomorrow. We'll talk some
I'm going to do some
visits.
research tonight, too. I'm a little behind. But he's a really interesting player. I thought he was going to come out a year ago because he's got a ton of sacks. He's only 220 pounds. He's under 6 feet tall. I know this because I looked at his pro day results this morning. So he's under 6 feet tall. He's only 220 pounds, but he's a demon off the edge. I mean, he started as like a defensive end for them, as like a pure pass rusher, just running past tackles in the SEC for a lot of sacks. And then I think they did him a favor and said, let's make you more of an off-the-ball linebacker because there's no chance anyone's going to draft you just to be a defensive end at 220 pounds, at under 6 feet tall. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And he's been good. And he ran a 4.4 flat. He flies around the field, but there's a difference between being versatile as a player, like, oh, he can do a lot of different things, or is he homeless? He might be homeless. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone wants the next Emuari.
That's like it's similar to the Kyle Lewis conversation.
Similar, but Lewis is more safety to linebacker as opposed to end to linebacker.
Yes.
But they're both the same size, basically, and they're small for linebacker. So they have to play in space. They have to kind of be big slots. Yes, you'd love to blitz them a lot, but what's that, 5 times a game? You know, can I put him out there? And when he blitzes, is he going to beat Trent Williams like he did, like he ran around everybody else? So he might be a man without a home. But he's interesting, and he's been really productive. And there's been some of those, like, way too early draft lists where it's like, oh, he's going in the first round. Like, he's not going anywhere close to the first round, but I don't know what to do with him. There's a lot of speculation there.
Be a name we'll keep
He better
an
be
eye
an
on.
awesome special teamer right off the bat, just to hang around, you know?
Last one from Sudesh. His favorite sporting events: the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, the draft, and WrestleMania.
No,
WrestleMania is one of those. That'd be fun to go to. I feel like I would enjoy going to that.
What do they call it now? Sports entertainment.
Sports entertainment.
Right.
Yes, that's right. Let's see here. Let's do one more before we go to break. T-Mac tweets.
I bet WrestleMania would be a blast to
awesome.
be at. Yeah.
Although now the only thing, and I'm not like
I'm not into it. I don't know.
but
I just don't know. Yeah.
am in this sports
TV
realm.
knows what's up.
So WrestleMania now, right? TV is 2 days long. Yeah,
wow.
I don't love that. I want it WrestleMania, one event, blow it out, all the big fights one day. I don't want it spread over 2 days. But if you can sell the tickets, sell the tickets. The NFL draft is spread over 3 days, Matt. I wish that was just one day too, and we would blow it all out.
I wonder if you only buy one ticket.
No, it's separate. So if you want it right,
is it separate for the draft too?
For the draft, I believe so. But again, though, the draft is.
We'll know more about that with it being here, but
yeah. The draft ticketing is.
Or is there even tickets for the draft?
No, there is, but it's like Latrobe training camp. Like you have to register online and get your ticket ahead of time, but it's free.
Okay.
Yeah.
WrestleMania is not free.
WrestleMania is not free, and both days will cost you a pretty penny. But that would be something I would be down to do once, certainly.
Sure, I bet it's quite the environment.
I hear they like to stay hydrated at those events. T-Mac tweets and says, "I feel like you need to draft a quarterback, just because you may." You may have a fish in Will Howard that you turn into something doesn't mean you stop fishing. You keep fishing until you get the big game winner. Plus, if we want to bet on the 2027 draft, it feels like you just need to restart completely. I understand.
I think there's both sides of the fence to drafting a quarterback.
I see both sides of you can't develop two at once. So why throw somebody else in there? But I also see...
And I don't know if you can't develop two at once.
It's
harder. You're going to cut into each other.
You have 12 picks, and
right.
What if you can't move the draft capital as much as you would like to?
And you really like a kid.
And it's the 6th round, and someone that you had a 4th round grade on is still
Even
there.
if it's a 4th round, and
yeah,
North Dakota State kid's there, and you really like him, and you think he might be a starter. Now, I hate to quote Jerry Dulac directly because I didn't see it, but Jerry knows his stuff, and it was somewhere on Twitter someone made it, pointed it out to me that Jerry had reported, and Jerry, I apologize if I'm wrong, but that the Steelers would only be interested in a quarterback this year if they thought he had more upside than Will Howard. And I think that's a decent way of looking at it. Like, if you think his ceiling's higher than Howard, we're interested.
Sure.
Like, I don't know if they're just grabbing a 7th rounder, camp arm, a Lewillicon guy, you know.
If they look at someone like Nuss and say, we think his ceiling could be a lot higher than Will Howard.
Yeah, and then we'll consider taking him.
That's a great call.
But that doesn't mean you'll pay the price to get him.
Plenty more of these tweets to get to.
And we have a hard time using that 2nd round pick on one of the quarterbacks.
I would be shocked.
You know what I mean? That's a receiver or no lineman or a really good safety.
That early, needs to be someone who's putting their hand in the pile.
One of the 3/3 or 2/4. I get it. Right. All of a sudden, you have a couple needs checked. Then it's a little easier.
Especially if maybe the 1st and 2nd round fall how you would like them to fall.
Yeah, exactly. They're guys you like,
One more segment to go. We will pick up where we're leaving off here, getting through as many of your tweets as possible before we get out of here on this Tuesday. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here of The Drive on this Tuesday evening, and we are going to continue to get through as many of these tweets as we can get to. Smooth Dave tweets us and says, the master plan hinges on getting the franchise quarterback in 2027. We all know that many teams want 2027 draft capital. With that said, would you be willing to lose value this year in order to get more in 2027? For example, would you trade one of the 3rd round picks and a 5th this year to get a 3rd next year?
No. I mean,
again, I think it depends on how the first couple picks go.
I mean, who's sitting there when you're on the? I mean, you'd have to be on the clock and be like, I hate all these dudes right now, right?
And someone's calling and like,
right.
Yeah.
I got 4th round grades on all these dudes. All the wrong dudes fell off the board. Yes. This is going horrible.
And the safety that we wanted in the early day
just
3
went a minute
here.
Ago. I mean, maybe if horror struck. Now, I think there's a misconception, because I think it's becoming less true in general, that if you trade a 4th this year, you should get a 3rd next year. If you trade a 5th this year, you should get a 4th next year. And I think that'll be even less true this year, because I think the discrepancy or general opinion of the discrepancy of draft classes, like next year's running back class is supposed to be a lot better. It's not just quarterback. It is worse. But I don't think you go 1 for 1. Like, I'm not giving you a 3rd this year for a 3rd next year. I mean, maybe if I feel like my roster's full and I have 2 7ths, trade them both for a 6 next year or something like that, and you probably lose on the trade value chart or whatever. But it's like, I can't bring this many people to camp.
I only got so many seats at the table.
Yeah, and I'm going to draft yet another running back, or you know what I mean? So, no, I'm not taking a massive discount, but I might take a little less discount than people might think. Like, it's real easy for us to sit here today or a lot of these days and be like, well, that last 3rd round pick, just flip it for a 2 next year. I don't know if anyone's going to do that, straight up.
Yeah. If they would, I think a lot of people would do that.
Yeah, they would have already happened.
Matthew tweets us and says, Matt is right. The draft is the single greatest sporting event of the year. So you would hold people.
It is.
And every time when we get into this, it makes it seem like I hate the draft. I don't hate the draft. I like the draft. But I would rather watch the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game than Roger Goodell read names from a podium. What are we doing here? I love you guys, but come on. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Matthew also adds, am I wrong in thinking that Frank Signetti Jr. can get some valuable draft intel on the IU guys from his brother?
I read that one before, and I'm glad you picked that. That's great because the answer is yes.
And we like a lot of those guys.
Yes. I've been saying all along, I didn't even think of that angle until I read the tweet.
How did we not think of that?
I didn't say, what are we thinking? Come on, man. Right. I keep saying the Indiana guys are going to go higher than people think because they're so well coached, and there's no such thing as NFL ready. But that group looks pretty NFL ready in terms of just not making mistakes, knowing how to prepare, getting the most out of it. Yeah, no doubt. But, of course, I mean, that's what scouting is, folks. I mean, like, you talk to people that it's reporting. I mean, you're a private investigator. You're asking anyone you know for answers. Of course you're asking daddy or brother or whoever.
Who's the head coach of the national champion that's going to have a bunch of guys drafted?
Hines Ward.
You better be asking Hines Ward about Jordan Tyson.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like if Tomlin was the head coach here still, you think he wouldn't call Hines Ward and say, what do you think of Jordan Tyson? You know? I mean, I think that's a big reason they ended up with Pickett. They know so much about him. I mean, like I've been told that they were, I don't think this is a public secret, but they were kind of torn between Willis and Pickett.
Yeah.
You know, those were the choices. But you definitely knew a lot more about Pickett.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
or at least you better have.
Yeah, right.
It'd be a shame if you didn't. Mason Rudolph's burner tweets us and says, Matt, I am 100% with you on the draft being the best sporting event of the year. The only thing that could take the spot is a big Steeler game. So you're telling me that
Steelers Ravens AFC Championship game.
Okay, yeah, that's a big. But what is a big Steeler game? So week 3 against the Patriots, you'd rather watch the draft than week 3 because that's you people. I love you all, but you people.
Might.
You people.
I learned more on draft day.
You know, when I was a kid and really got into sports, I was like, man, these Steeler games are awesome. These WVU games are awesome. But I really want is Paul Tagliabue at Radio City Music Hall reading names on the stage.
A bunch of dudes in suits. Yeah.
Mason Rudolph's burner says, as a child, I loved it. Takes over my weekend. No family, no work. I eat what I want. I love it. Now, see, I totally get that. From the dork football perspective, the draft is awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone
knows I am off limits draft week.
Your famous joke is, you tell your parents they better not die these 3 days because I'm busy.
I mean, even like my best bud lives in Nashville now, and he has 2 young kids, and he's like, hey, I'm strongly considering about bringing the boys up for the draft. Will you have any free time whatsoever? No, not even a little bit, dude.
Not even a little bit.
No, I will not have one beer with you. I won't shake your hand or give you a hug once. Not a chance. Even if you were, I'm like, you can even stay in my room if you. I mean, I got an empty room in my house. You could stay there. Yeah, I still won't see you.
Just won't see me. Mason Rudolph's burner also adds, love the show, never miss it. There's no better show for Steelers or the whole league. Well, thank you, Mason Rudolph's burner. We greatly appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, sure. We always like compliments.
Yeah, nice words are always welcome. RJ tweets and says, throwing logistics out the window. If you each got one free ticket to any sporting or entertainment event in the world in all of 2026, what would you each choose?
Would you do World Cup? Like finals or whatever?
Okay, so if I could go for the whole year, I would have gone to the USA-Canada gold medal game in Italy for the Olympics.
Yeah, okay.
Now, that's in hindsight now.
Yeah.
If you're asking me going forward, it would probably be I'd take a ticket to the World Cup final in July in New York City, whenever that is. Probably, yeah. Or
some of this
the
is
Super Bowl isn't going to be in 2026, but I'd love a ticket to the upcoming Super Bowl.
I mean, if you knew it was going to be Steelers-Rams in the Super Bowl, you'd pick that.
Absolutely.
Or if you knew Penn's Game 7 against a Western team, you'd take that. You don't know who's in it, though.
WVU in the college football playoff as I chuckle out loud because when's that going to happen? Never.
I don't know. Maybe I'd take something weird like that I've never been to. That's not my normal move, but maybe I would take like a Crazy World Cup or something like that.
What about Formula Matt?
Yeah, I might go to Monaco.
Go to Monaco for Formula
Yeah, I couldn't afford like a water there, I don't think. But I mean, yeah, I probably would do something like that.
Let's see. Pittsburgh Conversation.
I watched a documentary on Kimi Antonelli. Yeah, last night on Netflix. He took over for last year. Mercedes their number one driver went from Mercedes to Ferrari.
Okay.
And he is like the all-time greatest driver. He's like Brady, is the most wins ever. Like they dominated Mercedes. And a year ago, he went to Ferrari for more money and changed teams. And they put this Kimi, Kimi. Usually I can pronounce his name well. He is so young that he got his driver's license after Formula One. He was like, I guess he had to be 18 wherever he's from. I think he's from France or Spain or whatever. I think he's from France. But the Netflix series opens with him like, man, I'm so nervous. I'm making my debut for Mercedes, which is an awesome group.
Sure.
I got to follow Hamilton, who's unbelievable. And next week I get my driver's license. And my mom doesn't have to drive me around anymore. I'm like, oh, my Lord.
He's a professional driver, and mom's bringing him to the track.
He's like the whiz kid. I mean, he's unbelievable. But, right, he didn't even have his license when he took over F1.
That's fantastic.
And I guess he's tearing it up this year.
Oh, I believe it.
He's like the guy.
All right, Matt, let's try and sneak one or two more in here. Yeaton Yenzer tweets us and says, do we need to talk at all about the fullback position in Big Mike's offense? Obviously, I remember the John Kuhn days in Green Bay, but is that still a role we need to fill?
I've given that zero thought.
We got some good ones today in this regard. Yeaton Yenzer.
Last I remember, no. I mean, there's three wide so much that it's hard to get a fullback on the field when you're three wide.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
My hunch is they will not have one on the roster.
I don't think so.
Because they probably would have by now. You just wouldn't just go into the draft with none. I mean, you probably grabbed someone for league minimum. That's, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
To at least know you got a body.
Yeah.
All right, last one of the day. And, I mean, guys, there's probably still close to 10 of these that we didn't have time to get to. But we'll keep rolling along and doing what we can to get to as many as possible. Pittsburgh Conversation tweets and says, would you guys guess the Steelers' chance of having the home opener or opening the season at home this year? So,
do you have any insight? I have no clue.
Yeah, the first thing that you do is you look at the Pirates' schedule. And I was actually confused about this. I looked at this, and I thought the NFL season would begin the first Sunday in September, like it usually does. But with a weird Labor Day this year, that's not the case.
Why is there a weird Labor Day?
It's just like the way that it falls. The Labor Day is later in the calendar than it typically is.
Oh, okay.
And so,
I mean, it's still on Monday or whatever.
Yes. But it's like, it's, again, I don't want to take all the time to look this up, but it's the way the Labor Day falls is weird. So the first Sunday in September is like September 6th. And so in my mind, I thought, okay, that would be the opening weekend of the NFL season.
But it's always the weekend
Pirates are at home
Labor
at 1:30 that day. I'm like, they're not going to have a Pirates game at 1:30 and the Steelers opener. But with the way that it's weird, the NFL season won't open until September 13th this year.
And that's way later than usual.
Way later than usual.
Okay.
And the Pirates
It's always the weekend after Labor Day.
Yes, it's always the Sunday after Labor Day. But again, with the way that it falls and everything, it's
not
bizarre
necessarily
this year.
the first week of September. It's the
I don't understand why they wouldn't do it
Labor
on
Day's
September
later
6th.
than usual.
Yes.
Is what the weird part about it.
Yes. I don't understand why they wouldn't do it on September 6th. I don't know, but it's not going to be the first NFL game, first weekend, because there'll be the Wednesday and Thursday games.
Okay.
But the Pirates
Did you check the Pirates?
They're actually out of town.
Weekend?
They're actually out of town that weekend. So the Steelers, I think, have only had like one home opener in the last 10 years.
They would never. I know it's very rare.
Yeah,
but they would never overlap with the Bucs.
No, and that's a big part of it is because I remember 2 years ago or something, Missy Matthews did a sit down with Mr. Rooney on Steelers.com. And I remember him kind of like making a joke of like, well, you know, it's been 8 years since we've had a home opener. I guess we'll have to talk to MLB and the Pirates, and because there's been this long.
I know they share parking. It's not like Three Rivers where they have the same building.
And typically, you know, this is not a knock on our hometown team, but typically the Pirates aren't playing the most important baseball in September
or October.
Hopefully that changes this year. But
yeah, I'm rooting for them. Great.
But yeah, so I would think that there's a better chance with the Pirates being out of town opening weekend. I would think that there's a better chance this year than there has been some of these more recent years. But that's such a science that I am not very in tune with.
I can't imagine being a scheduling person.
That's got to be crazy
It's
difficult.
upper level, insane math.
Crazy difficult.
Yeah.
Matt, that was a lot of fun. Enjoyed the double tweet segment. We'll dip back into tweets tomorrow. We'll talk more about some pre-draft visitors that the Steelers have had to town, both local and otherwise, as well. And we'll continue to shimmy and shake through this end of the month of March. But that will do it for us today. Thanks to Mr. TV, for producing on the video side of things. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You know where to find us. On your 24/7 home of the Black and Gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.